Hello and welcome to Flippin Through, the internet's #1 Mad Magazine news, review, and interview channel. Hey, I've had a lot of reviews, not a lot of news, and coming down the pipe is quite a few interviews. I have 2 that I've filmed already. I got 1 more that I'm doing next week, so you can expect pretty regularly on Wednesdays, for the time being, some interviews, and so far so good. I've had some technical errors, but the content of the interview is still good. It's just some technological troubles that I've had during the filming. As always, if you enjoy my channel and the content that I'm producing, please hit like and subscribe, leave a comment, share it out with somebody. It makes a difference to me, and maybe to YouTube. I don't know. I'd love this channel to grow and grow and grow. And I've got a ton of ideas of some additional videos I can make. Anyway, enough of that. We're here to look at Mad Magazine issue 148, marked January 1972, 40 cents, which is indeed cheap. This is one of those first covers that it was like it took me a second to get it. I was like, wait, huh? It's a Norman Mingo cover. Obviously, there's like what looks like wallpaper or a mural, and it's done with Mad Magazine brand paint, Mad Paint. And I love all these little details. Like there's the ear and then part of the M, and then you have his lower face on the roller. And it's almost like Norman Mingo calculated it out so that it would be, if you kind of like wrapped that around, that would sort of be the top of the head. And look at a little bit has spilled out onto the Wall Street Journal, and it's filling in. I just think this is so cool. If it were possible, I would want this as wallpaper in my home. Not this whole image, but like something like this where it looks like it's painted on. I think that'd be so awesome. But this is probably one of my favorite covers, but one that I kind of forget about. Anyway, let's get into this. So we got a movie scene we'd like to see. And a lot of these, this very first page ended up being an ad for the paperback books or subscriptions or something like that. So I love it when you can dive right into something entertaining. It's almost like when you read a comic book, the worst thing to do is like you open up and you get like a page of text, and then you turn the page and it's like an ad. And it's like the most anticlimactic way to start a book. So like having something entertaining is always awesome. Vital features. If characters Peanuts aged, page 4, who do we think that is? What artist? This is going to be a shot in the dark. I'm going to say, what was this, 1972? I don't know. I have George Woodbridge on the brain, but I don't think he ever did stuff like that. Right here, when Madison Avenue appeals to extremists. Oh, I have a feeling that's gonna be pretty fun. This looks more like, no, not George Woodbridge. I don't know. I'm really off today. The Trauma of 42, a movie satire. This is gonna be Angelo Torres, I think. Mad's Rhyming Guide to Pro Football. Well, here's Paul Coker Jr. I can get that one. Oh gosh, this is hard. I'm having trouble conjuring the names. I'm almost certain that's not Woodbridge. That's somebody else. Bob Clark, I bet. This, I got no idea. No idea. Could that be Davis? We'll find out. We'll see if my skills are any more honed. The letters page. Oh, look. All right, we got to do this. We got another celebrity sending something in. Nicholson and Company goes mad. Jack Nicholson. famously had the news broken to him that his sister was his mother in an interview. Jack Nicholson, star of that other 5 Easy Pieces, shares his issue of Mad containing our version with a lovely actress, Helena Kaلیaniotis. Kaلیaniotis? Is that the... And Michelle Phillips. I believe I have that issue. Well, that's kind of... And he didn't even write anything down. He's just sending the picture, huh? All right. Sorry about that, guys. Here we have... This is the ad that normally would have been on that inside cover. Okay, so I already guessed wrong. If the characters in Peanuts age like ordinary people, artist Bob Clark. I don't think I guessed that. I think I was dumbfounded about what that is. So at the age of 19, look, he already looks old. Schroeder, perhaps you have a minute to... Sorry, Charlie Brown. We're massing a siege of the riot... Oh, of the ROTC building. Starve out the fascist pigs. Up against the wall, you tools of the military-industrial complex. Right on! Lucy, I'd like to ask you... Don't bother me, Charlie Brown. I'm late for the campus women's lib rally. Down with the tyranny of the male establishment. Up with women's rights. Hey, Pigpen, maybe you'd want to... Not now, Charlie Brown. I'm conducting a one-man filth-in against Lever Brothers. Down with polluting detergents. Up with natural dirt. Somehow I feel this is not the time to organize a pep rally for the football team. Hey, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Oh, at the age of 35. I'm going to zoom in. I think I'll just read the top cartoon from each one. No, actually, I'm going to read this middle one. I read it real quick. All right, so look at, gentlemen, look at he's Charlie Brown. Look at, it's got that lovely mustache, vacuuming, scrubbing the floor. I'd like to speak of the man of the house. She's gone shopping. That's great. All right. Someday I'm going to figure out this lever. Wait, why didn't... My brain is not working at all, guys. Here we go. I'm going to stay zoomed in. That's what I'm going to do. Peanuts at the age of 65. What nostalgic boyhood memories this attic holds. Here's one of the 738 kites I flew into a tree. Here's the baseball I pitched the day that every member of Peppermint Patty's team hit a home run off me. Here's the football I fumbled on the goal line. Lost our team its only possible victory. Yes, sir. I like it up here in the attic. I just hope that Lucy keeps her promise and lets me out after her bridge club leaves. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and that's it. The lifespan of cartoon characters back then was very short. 65. That was your expiration date. When Madison Avenue appeals to extremists, artists, Jack Rickard, writer Frank Jacobs. I am batting 0 for 2 so far. Why should you fly Pan Am, the world's most experienced airline? Let's ask arrested 747 hijacker Pablo Freebish. Pablo, why did you choose Pan Am? Because Pan Am's got everything to begin with. Pan Am's round-the-world pilots have an average of 20 years flying experience. They know the landing patterns in Havana, Beirut, Cairo, and other popular hijack destinations. Pan Am stewardesses are multilingual and can better understand heavily accentuated threats and ravings, and Pan Am stewards stock a full supply of wines and whiskeys for keeping up your courage while you're waiting for the right moment to take over the plane. But most importantly, Pan Am's ground crews are constantly checking landing gears and other parts of the planes in case of an out-of-the-way landing on a remote desert plateau or a polar ice cap or a Chinese rice paddy. Gosh. Oh, my goodness. Gasoline, automobile ads. How about this insurance ad in the magazine? I'm going to zoom in on this. Jack Rickard. Look at, I love this illustration. What is this? They're members of the Weather Underground or something? What if the pigs get you? Or if a Molotov cocktail goes off in your hands? Or if you're buried alive in a munitions factory, you won't be able to take care of them. Your old lady will have to raise a kid without you. Worst of all, she may meet someone square who will want to marry her. And your kid won't have an old man who'll teach him how to bring the war home by blowing up the Bank of America. He may never learn about Che and Mao and Bobby and Bernadette. Your New York life agent grooves your bag. He digs your scene. Call him. Rap with him. He'll show you a plan that'll still bring in the bread should you happen to crash into that big freak out in the sky. New York life insurance. That is so thoughtful. This reminds me, like the way this is written, reminds me of the ways companies try to remain relevant to young people. Like you see that, companies on Twitter, it'll be like, oh, the Wendy's Twitter account is so sassy, like, oh, they tweet memes. So, I mean, it's a far cry from this lifestyle, but gosh, they know how to call it, don't they? The Trauma of 42, artist Mort Drucker. I said that, right? I didn't say Angelo, did I? I think I did say Angelo, so I'm 0 for 3 at this point. It almost seems like this is before he really developed his style of like super wild caricatures. Like that I feel like you really saw those in the 80s and 90s where it was just, where he got his style really honed in. I'm flipping through this really fast because I don't know the movie. Oh, The Great Escape Plot. Sergio Aragonés. Obviously Sergio is one of the greatest at this, the comedic storytelling without words. And so I always greatly enjoyed seeing him working outside of a Mad Look At, just to see more, I guess, what his sense of humor was. I think sometimes if you're working under something like a Mad Look At, airplanes, that really directs your sense of humor in a big way. And not everything is going to work if you are on that topic. So anyway, all right. Oh, that is great. I thought it was going to be, I did not anticipate that punchline. I thought it was going to be like a game of telephone where, somebody winds up with the entirely wrong thing. This is the type of Don Martin gag. Now, before I've even read it, my guess is that this probably could have fit on one page. All right. At the playland. So he's playing, he's shooting. Oh, the trigger's jammed. Pop. Oh, and then the duck falls down. Okay. He shoots. Oh, God. Oh, the guy gives a very dramatic death. All right, so this is like more than one type of thing. I thought it was one continuous story. So I guess 3 gags. It's reasonable, I guess, to use up 2 whole pages. Click, click. Oh, he keeps missing, so he blasts it with a shotgun. Yeah. But get out of here, Dave Berg. Oh, look at that horrible face. I love that. Yeah. He's very good at the grotesque. Was he trying to make them look that grotesque? This is something that Hawks and Doves. I loved Hawks and Doves. If you don't like, this is one that didn't really get a ton of play. Artist and writer Al Jaffe. I thought it was kind of a good gag. It was sort of like Beetle Bailey, I guess, like with the Sarge, and Beetle Bailey is a lazy ass. But I get like with this one, it's, major hawks and then private doves, being hawkish on war and then being like a dove, peace. So he's a real peacenik. And, he's major hawks. He has a reputation to uphold. So look at, he gets a Lionel electric train. Oh, but Papa, it's too complex. Why'd you buy your kid that? Anyway, so he says, hey, Private Doves, go in and help him, all right? So Private Doves works diligently. And look, he made a peace symbol. It's not appropriate for my child. And look, he's just running away gleefully. I want to see how many hawks and doves actually existed in the world. Answers to children's letters from... I'm going to try saying that one again. Answers to children's letters from Santa. That is a weird one to read aloud. Dear Susan, thank you for your photograph and your kind offer, but you are a little too young for me. Oh my God. By the way, who is that older girl to your immediate left? Curiously, Santa. Why was that the first one that I read? Writer Dick DiBartolo and Donald... Oh, Epstein. Jeez Louise. That made that just so much creepier. Dear Bobby, thank you for being so considerate. Although I appreciate your wanting to save May work, I will still have to know exactly what you want. I cannot just bring you your own master charge card. Hey, dear Pam, Santa only brings presents. I'm afraid I cannot take away your baby brother. That's wholesome right there. That's very wholesome. Last one. Dear Jerry, I'm sorry, but I cannot give you part of a slot car racing set for being good some of the time. Okay, I lied. Here's the real last one. This is to a young Dick DiBartolo. Dear Dick, bringing you a scuba outfit is easy, but finding a lake that's clear enough to see something in is going to be your problem. Sincerely, Santa. Is this a Prohaas? Yes, it is. Side note, I think the next first appearances that I'm going to do is I'm going to do first appearances of Spy versus Spy. Now, I've kind of covered the first Prohaas Spy versus Spy, so tell me what you think of this. I was thinking about doing first appearance of Prohaas, first appearance of Bob Clark doing Spy versus Spy, because I think it was Clark and Edwing, and then first appearance of Cooper. And just looking at those, comparing those, like the different artist writers on Spy versus Spy and the first one that they ever submitted. So that's what I was considering. Here we go. The Spy versus Spy, he's got a club. That's a good home defense. Really wish it was in a safe, though. So like he chops it up, saws it up. Oh, that black spy is furious. He's outwitted him once again. I did have this weird theory when I was a kid. I think I mentioned it, that the first spy you see, I think my cousin and I came up with it. It may have been her more than me, but that the first spy that was seen would always be the one that loses. And of course, this one. Well, I guess if you're reading left to right, that is maybe it does work. I don't know. Mad's Rhyming Guide to Pro Football. Artist Jack Davis. There we go. I got one. One correct. So I do know something. The linebacker. Written by Frank Jacobs, of course. Who else would you trust with prose except for Frank Jacobs? Okay, let's look for something that I know. I know what a quarterback is, so that's what I'll read. The quarterback. Observe the big shot quarterback now serving up his team's attack. He should be using all his wits to plan his play and stop the blitz. But now he's such a business whiz, his mind is on those bars of his. I guess he's now too big a name to care about a silly game. Isn't that the truth? Head coach. The head coach paces up and down, his face contorted in a frown. A nervous wreck who fears the worst. He bows his head and breathes a curse, then shakes his fist and kicks the dirt and rips the collar off his shirt. If now it seems like he's upset, just wait, the game's not started yet. Honestly, I bet this is super entertaining for people who were sports fans in the 70s. I bet it was. Now, also, actually, keep in mind, this is at almost the highest point for MAD sales. This is 1973 is when sales peaked. So this is perhaps not by your standards, but I guess by the number standards, this is close to the pinnacle of MAD. One Thursday afternoon on the moon. Oh, look at, I see it. Greg, or Buzz Aldrin, right? He goes, okay, let's go check it out. Oh, okay, I got a little bit of rock. Oof. They chose the wrong neighborhood to collect samples in. Paul Coker, I can spot his art from a mile away. Now, normally, I really come down hard on Paul for like having panels like this. Like, I think that he works best in confined spaces. But I will say this. This page is filled really nicely. He doesn't have, like we've seen in the past, all of the extra kind of like worthless stuff. He has like the cross-hatching to indicate walls, but he doesn't overdo it. It doesn't make it too busy. Things like this, they're in the dark room, and there's nothing behind them because there doesn't need to be. They're in like the bullpen. There's some more stuff. And I do like this. It gives that illusion that it's a cross section of a building. It's a lot better than scenes at I think one of the other ones, it was scenes at in the US at Florida or something. These photos of a woman making love to a kangaroo are disgusting. You're right, we got to get a better looking kangaroo. I'm really, I think, doing a good job of picking just the right ones to start with. Artist Paul Coker, written by Cy Reet. I don't know. Hey, tell the truth. Would you let your daughter read this trash? She has to. She's the editor. I've got a groovy new promotion gimmick with every new subscription. We give away a free obscene phone call. Oh, this... All right, it would be super helpful if I read the title of this. Behind the scenes at an underground newspaper. That gives context. This is not a real newspaper. In many ways, the sexual revolution is just that, revolting. But don't take our word for it. See for yourself. I'm doing a wild article on group sex. Group sex? Great. What's it called? Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice and Mom and Dad. God. Oh, wow, look at this nude shot. What a doll. Yeah. Boy, she'd look really sexy in hot pants. The mayor and the chief of police and the DA are screaming about the stuff we print. You mean they want us to clean it up? No, they want us to mail it to them. They keep missing it at the newsstands. I like this. Artist and writer Peter Paul Porges. This is very interesting. A mad look at waterbeds. Again, keeping in mind, a mad look at did not start with Sergio Aragonés. He perhaps perfected it, but I know at least one other person besides Paul Peter Porges worked on a mad look at. I forget, though. It was in one of my earlier videos. Yeah, there it is, frozen up. Oh, it sprung a leak. This would actually be a really good idea, wouldn't it? I love this. Paul Peter Porges, his style, this does not, I mean, it's reminiscent of what you can see how he got from here to where he ended up later. But to me, this is like, I almost don't recognize it. I would not have identified it as his work had it not been for his name being associated with it. I think that's somebody else I want to do a first appearances of, is Paul Peter Porges. Training Fleas. Gotta jump through that hoop. Oh, that's disgusting. Golly. Prohash, that's horrible. Who cares about how realistic it is? I love that. The Messi's Thanksgiving Day Parade. A spoof on the world famous Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which probably will never happen ever again, I assume. Or it's going to be, I don't know, just videotaped and put online. The Congressional Off the Record. I cannot be expected to be able to read at this point. Lou Silverstone is the artist, photographs by Irving Schild. Irving Schild he was not the only artist or the only photographer, but I think he was the most prolific at Mad Magazine. And he does really an outstanding job. From things like just a photo, like a normal photo of a guy, to the more silly things that end up happening. Hey, I want to put my face there. Look at LBJ and Nixon. Oh, that's disappointing. Just a big ad to end it. Here we have the fold in, and I absolutely can fold this one in because it's been folded in. Every day we hear about some frightening, frustrating, shocking new disaster arising to plague us and worry us. But one thing is bugging most Americans more than all the others combined. To find out what it is, simply fold in page as shown on the right. There we go, like that. Throughout the land, people are learning to face frustrating daily problems and cope with them. But they are minor calamities that shrink into insignificance compared to this catastrophe. The FBI. Oh. Okay. That took me too long to figure out what's bugging what most Americans. Bugging is like an idiom for putting a listening device into somebody's home so that you can hear what they're saying. The FBI is bugging most Americans. Get it? All right. Anyway, here's a wonderful Irving Schild TV scene we'd like to see. I'm assuming, I don't know, a spoof on Cardini's salad dressing or something. Everybody's asking, who made the salad? He says, Caesar made the salad. He just gets shivved by a bunch of people. Et tu, parte. Break for laughter. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching again. Hey, like, subscribe, share it if you can. If you have any Mad magazines that you would like to see reviewed, let me know in the comments. Now that I say that, I think I forgot to review one that somebody requested. Anyway, I try my best. Sometimes I forget. But remind me again. Anyway, with that, thank you so much for watching. Toodaloo.